What is going on, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. Today, I'm going to be bringing you guys 5 off meta. And when I say off meta, I mean pretty off meta. Like, they are not played at all. With builds that I think you guys should be trying and support. They're either really fun or they win a lot. I've used all these builds and all of them feel great. So I hope you guys enjoy. First off, we're going to start with a mage support who just came out, Eshell. I already have the builds kind of laid out, but I'll talk it kind of through why and then like what's the point of the entire build. Sentinel's Embrace, obviously starting Sentinels. If you're building a power item first, a lot of the times you have to build Sentinels just for that 10 protections of each. So Sentinels into Cronus Pendant. I really like Eshell in duo with Cronus Pendant because of just the amount of poke and the amount of harass you can get off with this. And then you also have a good amount of survivability with your 3-2 ult. And then just the extra protections help a lot. Once you get your Cronus Pendant, you want to go into Binding. A little bit of protections of each. Binding helps you kill, helps your team kill. E-Staff after that. Ethereal Staff, one of the best items in the game, if not the best item in the game. Poke somebody, steal 8% of their health, give it to yourself. Abyssal Stone is a nice harass item when fights are happening. A god that relies on cooldown that is diving your backline. Most assassins rely on cooldown that aren't auto attack gods. If you hit them with Abyssal Stone, this will add 5-6 seconds to their base cooldowns. And then Spear Deso, if you get a kill, if your team gets a kill in a fight, it gets your cooldowns up a little bit quicker. You want to be playing front to back for the most part, kind of harassing the frontliners. If an assassin is out of position, you can all in them and you can kill them. There is a slight weakness with the build. When you're having tier 1 Sentinels into Cronus Pendant, you are pretty squishy. Don't get me wrong, you're pretty squishy. If the assassin tries to dive you and tries to get on you while you're rotating in the jungle, he's probably going to kill you. So make sure if you're fighting with just Sentinels and Cronus Pendant, play in your 2v2 so that you have somebody with you that you can fight with. Eshell's strengths come when she's fighting with a teammate or with just like your entire team. Her 1v1s are not that strong. Next up, Thor. I've been loving Thor support, and I don't even know why it took me so long to kind of just start playing Thor. But nobody really plays him in support. If you're playing Thor, you're playing him in solo. Probably mostly solo right now because of how busted his building in solo. And this is taking a little bit of that from his solo build and making it into a support build. Sentinel's Moon into Prophetic Cloak. You actually get cloaked really quickly stacked with Thor. Your 1 ranged ability that procs it. Your 2 ranged ability that procs it. Your lightning allows like maybe a double proc when you're ulting and you're kind of fighting with others. And then the cooldown for prophetic, so your ult is not on a 100-second cooldown, also helps a little bit. Dawnbringer is a really good second item with this build. It won't feel too great until you do get farther into the build, but I just think if you're playing Thor, you want to be able to threaten the enemy backliners, and that's with a power item. So Dawnbringer is that power item to threaten the backliners. Glad Shield to make yourself a little bit tankier, and then do a little bit of extra damage. Genji's for that cooldown reset when you land. If you ult into the fight, you use your 1-2-3 combo, and then you get hit, your abilities are going to be back up in 3 seconds. Like, even your 1 that you use, your 2 that you use that have longer cooldowns than your 3, they'll be back up very quickly. So Genji's feels nice in that regard. And then Glorious Pridwin, it does so much damage. It is just such a good item right now. If you really don't like Glorious Pridwin, try Revenant Pridwin. It'll make you a little bit tankier, not as much damage, but Glorious Pridwin just feels very, very good. The one thing to know also with Dawnbringer is Dawnbringer and Erendite do not proc from where you land. They proc from when you're in the air. So if you're in the air, what is this, 55 units away? You're not going to get the passive from Dawnbringer and the movement speed and the protections. This is just mostly if you're like hammering into a fight and then you ult up just because you're a little bit out of position or your hammer gets caught. And then you can just go right back down into the fight and get that extra protections and movement speed to maybe get out of the fight. Or even carry your team into winning that fight. Also, when you are playing Thor, you are playing to dive. Do not worry about peeling. You're winning this game through killing the enemy's backliners, either faster than your backliners get killed or before your backliners can even get gone on. Next up, number 3, Cabrakin. Surprising that he is one of the lowest pick rate characters of all the Guardians. It doesn't really make sense because I think he's a lot of fun, but maybe it's just more gods are being played in support now than ever, so just no reason to really play Cabrakin. If you want to play an assassin, just play an actual assassin. But this kind of takes from that old Cabrakin build at the beginning of Season 9, middle of Season 9, where Pythag's piece was bought. Sentinels into Pythag's piece, along with Cabrakin's 2 and his passive. Cabrakin is one of the few gods in the game, it's like him and Fafnir, where a power item first feels really good because they have so many protections built into their kit or survivability built into their kit. Sov is the next item. If you're playing against 2 physicals and 3 magicals, you can opt into a Heartward here instead. The Sov is mostly just usually you're playing against 3 or 4 physicals, so Sov feels really good. If you don't really know what to build at all and you don't know if Sov or Heartward is better, just go Thebes here if you have to and you don't really understand. You'll get it stacked fast enough. So you want to be kind of killing either the enemy's squishies, which are out of position, position and you can do a lot of damage to them, or you're going to be killing the enemy's front line and you're just going to be ulting them, stunning them again. Binding, Spirit's Robe, Reverent Pridwin to like finish the build. Reverent Pridwin is very, very good for survivability. It's giving you 200% shield, or 200% based on protections shield. So if you have, let's say, 400 protections from items, you're going to be getting an 800 shield, which is absolutely crazy. Feels very, very good. Try the build out. Let me know what you guys think. If you're playing super front to back, make sure you're getting that Sunder so you can Sunder and just kill. And if you're playing maybe to dive a little bit more, make sure you're getting that Blink. Next up, probably one of my least favorite supports in the entire game, Serb. But this build is so fun. Sentinel's into Prophetic Cloak. When I'm saying Prophetic Cloak is good on a lot of these gods, these are like a handful of gods that I think Prophetic Cloak, when you get it stacked, it'll just feel better than Thebes if Thebes is stacked. If you can't get it stacked, if they have like a backline support so you have nobody to actually get stacks off of, opt for a Thebes instead. It just feels really nice to have Serb's horrible cooldowns lowered a little bit. So Cloak if you can. E-Staff next up. Like I said, one of the best magical items in the game. Get it. You're not building it on Cabrakin because you can't really poke people with them to actually get the stacks on it. So Cabrakin doesn't use it very well, but Serb uses it very, very well. Binding, Reverend Pridwin, Spirit's Robe. You're going to be at 40% cooldown with this build, 50% with a power pot, which obviously does not matter. So you will be overcapped when you get that 500 pot. But this build gives you a lot of survivability. You want to be playing front to back, killing the enemy's frontliners, either solo or support. Sunder is going to feel very, very good in a build like this. You could also go something like Frenzy if you want to be able to just shred anyone, even objectives. But this build feels fantastic. You feel like you actually can threaten backliners a little bit. Serb. Lastly, number 5. You know I love Mulan. I think Mulan is so much fun. This build is absolutely fire when it comes to 1v5ing. Let me just show you this game quick. 656. This is the build. I had the entire build normally. 29,000 damage with 43,000 damage taken. I was insanely tanky. I was doing so much damage. Sentinel's Boon, just because you're diving super deep, that heal on objectives, or I mean on waves, can feel very, very good. Prophetic Cloak, if you can get it stacked, same rule as others. If you feel like you can't get it stacked, just go Thebes. Mulan just has somewhat higher cooldown, so that 10% cooldown does feel very good early. Manticore Spikes, you proc Manticore Spikes on your ult, on your 3, and then your 2 and your 1, which already do so much damage, are going to be doing even more damage with the spike. Dawnbringer, I love Dawnbringer on full tank builds, because it gives you that little extra base damage to kind of put your damage over the edge to actually kill people. And then Glorious Pridwin makes your damage go through the roof. It is so much burst damage with Glorious Pridwin. And then lastly, either Contagion or Glad Shield. If they have a little bit of healing, go Contagion. If they don't have any healing at all, go Glad Shield. Or any healing you're worried about, go Glad Shield. They both give you just like that little bit of extra damage to allow you to kill the enemy backliners. And you are going full Blink. You're going Blink and you're getting in there. Fire Blink, Sunder, Fire Blink, Thorns, Fire Blink, Eshell if you really think you need a little bit of extra survivability. But this build is an actual 1v5 machine build. But there it is, 5 off-meta support builds and gods that I think you guys should be trying. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys do try any of the builds, let me know down below how the game went. Maybe you got absolutely stomped because your dumb ADC lost you the game. But let me know. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. See you guys.